Mexicanos al grito de guerra, el acero aprestad y el bridón, y retiembla en sus centros la tierra al sonoro rugir del cañón.
The settling of the Mexico region started like much of the rest of the Americas, with nomads migrating from Siberia. Slowly traveling south, the wandering hunters followed bison and deer until settling around 20,000 BC. Around 1500 BC, the hunters had settled nicely in the Mexico Valley area, taking advantage of the abundant water supply to grow crops like corn, beans, and chilies. These early settlers did well as tribes grew into cities and civilizations came and went as the people flourished and waged war on each other. The people known as the Aztecs arrived in the Mexico region following a prophecy around 1250 AD. The prophecy told them to settle where the eagle, sitting on a nopal cactus, was devouring a serpent, which ultimately landed them on an island in the Central Valley that would later become Mexico City. These people thrived as their empire grew until the arrival of Hernan Cortes and the Spanish conquistadors in 1519. A mere 2 years after the arrival of the conquistadors ended the Aztec rule. Greed, betrayal, and disease was the ultimate end for the mighty Aztec people. However, their symbols, like the national flag containing an eagle devouring a serpent on a nopal cactus, are still seen today. Following the defeat of the Aztecs and the arrival of the Spaniards, Catholic missionaries were also sent to help bring civilization to the native people. This story certainly reads strikingly similar to the experience of the Native Americans in the United States region. While the Aztec people of pre-conquistador time were highly religious, believing in many gods, the invading Spaniards believed their practices were demonic and worked to change the indigenous people to a less barbaric religion. In 1524, 12 Franciscans were sent to New Spain in what is known as a spiritual conquest, to convert the people to Christianity. The task, however, was not easy, as the Council of the Indies frowned upon efforts to understand the indigenous people in order to better teach them. Philip II wanted total Hispanicization of these people and did not care to believe any of their previous beliefs, social structures, or religion intact. What resulted was a radical colonization and transformation, which brought about the importance of Christianity to the Mexican people. Similar to the colonists in America and the rule of Britain, the Mexican people were unhappy with the control and rule of Spain. Between 1810 and 1821, Miguel Hidalgo y Castilla, Austin de Iturbide, and Vincent Guerrero worked to bring a rebellion, which ultimately gained the Mexicans independence from the Spanish government. Guerrero and Iturbide drafted a constitution. However, 1 year into the country's independence, Iturbide declared himself emperor. This did not go over well because a year later, Antonio Lopez de Santa Anna ousted the new emperor and drew up a constitution. Santa Anna, president from 1823 to 1836, had established a federal Mexican republic, but was unable to defeat the Americans during the Mexican-American War. The country's turmoil did not end with the Revolution. The French occupied Mexico during the mid-1800s, followed by the presidency of Porfirio Diaz from 1876 to 1909. This presidency cared little for the poor and brought favor to the wealthy, which caused the Mexican Revolution in 1910. This war lasted 10 years and brought many deaths. During the national turmoil, issues arose between Mexico and the United States as Mexican people migrated to avoid the danger in their country. As the people pushed farther north, prejudices began to grow in the U.S. and a perceived Mexican problem began to manifest. At first, the Americans didn't know what to make of the country to the south. Then religion was brought as Protestant Americans decided that they needed to convert the immigrating people along the border. Following this, a moral conversation arose in regards to the behavior of the Mexican Americans, furthering the divide between the peoples and enforcing anti-Mexican prejudices. The prejudice has not ended between the U.S. and the Mexican people as of yet, and the reason for immigration has remained much the same. June 2014, tens of thousands of immigrants arrived at the border. These people, led to believe that they would be allowed entrance into the United States, also believed they would be able to become citizens of the United States. This mass immigration has continued yearly because of living conditions in some southern countries and has been labeled a humanitarian crisis. Today, America keeps an eye on Mexico for organized crime and drug trafficking. Congress is now concerned with drug trafficking organizations of today compared to the large, well-organized, family-owned organizations of the past. Using bribery and violence, these organizations have sold drugs and partially funded the corruption in the Mexican government since the early 1900s. Mexico is currently the home to 9 major drug trafficking organizations, but these organizations are fragmenting and are becoming harder to track. From a 2015 map of drug trafficking organization dominance in Mexico, it is clear that only a small amount of the Mexican country is without cartel dominance. Through all of this negativity, culture has shown through, as Mexico has contributed artists, inventions, and music to the world. When we think of Mexican art, we think of warm colors and vibrancy. Artists like Frida Kahlo, Diego Rivera, and Jose Clemente Orozco are well known for their contributions to the art world. Similarly, music from Mexico is well known for its uniqueness. Mariachi and banda were among the unique styles brought by the Mexicans. Artists like Mario Dom, Bertha Elisa Niagara Cardenas, and Pepe Aguilar bring the unique Mexican music style to the people of Mexico. The culture doesn't stop with art, however. Inventions known around the world can be credited to Mexican inventors as well. Guillermo Gonzalez Camarena developed the system that transmits color on television in 1942, which brought the world color television. Furthermore, in 1790, Jose Antonio de Alzate invented the ball cock that prevents toilets from overflowing. Even more impressively, Tessie Lopez Llorene invented catalytic nanomedicine that allows treatment of brain tumors without the need for surgery.
Y el que el golpe de ardiente metralla de la patria enlazará su tumba, obtendrá en recompensa una tumba donde brille de gloria la luz y de igual a la enseña querida a su espada sangrienta enlazar.